to Reignite, a podcast where we define duty and honor. I'm Frankie.
And I'm Matt, aka Stormageddon.
And joining us as we gain the loyalty of our favorite weeb wife is host of Pixel People, Amelia, aka FyreWriter.
Hello!
Welcome!
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And
we're excited that you're here. Yay!
We're just all excited.
Everyone's
excited. Well, Amelia, thank you for joining us. We're so excited to have you here. I guess let's start by talking a little bit about what you do. You are a podcaster and you are a streamer. Tell folks about who you are and all your stuff.
Sure. I am, as you said, a podcaster, streamer, love games. I've been playing, so you guys can see behind me, and listeners won't be able to, but you're probably seeing a lot of Fallout stuff back there. I'm a huge Fallout fan, and more recently, a huge BioWare fan. So a lot of my my streams are often focused on either Bethesda or BioWare games. And my podcast is called Pixel People, and I talk with a guest every episode about one of their favorite characters. We take a look into their story, talk about what makes them tick, see if they've got anything to teach us, and just sort of nerd out for an hour.
Love that. That's awesome.
It's a lot of fun. I always put it as I'm just here to chat with people about characters, and I may as well record it while I'm doing it.
Right?
It's like my favorite thing to do.
I feel like that's how every good podcast starts, is like, well, we don't shut up about this thing. I guess we should record it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah.
In the previous seasons, we've asked folks specifically about their trilogy journey, but since you're coming in our Andromeda season, why don't you tell us first to start just your Mass Effect journey, how it started? You said you recently came to like BioWare stuff. So like, how did you get introduced and start with the Mass Effect franchise?
Yeah, so I'm a fairly newcomer. I only played the trilogy for the first time last year. The way I came to it is actually because of the podcast. As soon as I started it up, people immediately started requesting Mass Effect characters. And I was like, okay, if everybody wants to talk about these characters, I better play this darn game. And I had tried it once before, quite some time ago, and weirdly enough bounced off of it. I don't know what it was at the time that just wasn't ready for it. And then and then I started it up again. I played, the first few goes at it were on stream, which was actually really helpful because people were giving me tips and things to watch out for, and that got me off on a really good start. And then I got hooked on the characters, and you could not pull me away from it. And I messed everything up my first time, and like half my characters died in the suicide mission. It was a disaster. And but Mass Effect 3 still, I just like sobbed my way through it. And then I played it again when the Legendary Edition came out, and this time I did everything right and sobbed some more, because this time I got to see a whole bunch of the correct way that their story would have ended and stuff like that. And oh my god, yeah, I mean, I don't think any game has ever broken my heart in the best possible way as the Mass Effect trilogy. So for Andromeda, I didn't play it initially after the first time I played the trilogy, and I think the only real reason why was because I don't know, there was something else going on. I can't remember why I didn't play it. It just wasn't so much on my radar yet. But then when I finished the Legendary Edition this time around, I was just itching for more Mass Effect, and I plowed through the novels and was just like, give me more. And so I was like, okay, gonna play Andromeda. I've heard things, but I'll give it a go, because I play a lot of games that maybe some people kind of talk some smack about and enjoy them, so let's check it out. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought there was just so much to offer, and it had a lot of elements of what I would almost consider kind of Bethesda-like elements. And as one of my other favorite game developers, that was incredibly appealing to me. It was kind of like, if Skyrim and Mass Effect had a baby, which apparently they're about to, based on what I saw over the weekend. I'm so excited. And it was just I mean, it was anything I could have wanted in a game with even more wonderful characters, and I just, yeah, I love it, and I need to play it again. I've just been like plowing through so many other games right now. I haven't had a chance to replay anything lately, but so that is my Mass Effect journey.
I love that so much.
That's awesome.
I love that, like, it seems the consensus of people who come to it later. Like, I mean, I obviously am playing it for the first time for the show, but it seems like the bugs and how broken the game was really pushed so many people away and gave it an unfair disadvantage. And I feel like people who are coming to it now after a lot of the bugs are patched. They're not all gone, unfortunately, but like it's better. Most people just really love it, you know, or if they dislike it, it's for different reasons. Like the open world is too much, it's repetitive, whatever. But like it feels like it's getting a fairer shake. And it's fun to hear, especially someone like you who came to the series so late and just loved all of it so fast. It's just, those are my favorites.
Completely fell in love. I'm playing through Dragon Age right now, so I'm getting to fall in love with that one too. But I'm just like welcoming in all these wonderful characters with open arms. I've got PB and Jal up here on my shelf. So
I also have a PB and Jal.
Yeah.
I still feel cheated that they didn't make a Vetra one.
I know. I've been like trying to find a whole bunch of different ones, and unfortunately,
it's just not fair.
Just did not quite get the love it needed, but we'll see what comes in the future.
I suppose Lost to the World with also that DLC we never got.
Yes. Tell me what happened to the Quarian arc.
Kat Valenti's book was really good. I say it every single time the Quarian arc comes up. It was so good. It was so good and so gay.
The gayer, the better. Always.
Oh, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. I do want to say that I really appreciate that much of your take is focused so much on characters, because for me, that's what Andromeda is about. It's about these characters.
Yes.
And it's about like building a community and building a life with these people.
Yes.
And yeah, I vibe. I vibe.
You'll notice a pattern with Frankie. Frankie is a dirty Turian lover and loves all the Turians. So I know.
I love a sniper.
I know. That's also true. I'm curious if we eventually, whatever series we go on to next or in the far-flung future, when there's a game with a sniper that's not the Mass Effect franchise, if you will love that sniper also.
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe. Could be.
I don't know. If I think about who I love in Dragon Age, Anders.
He's not really a sniper.
He's not a sniper, but he is a distance.
Yeah, I just finished Dragon Age 2, so he's am I allowed to curse?
Absolutely.
Yes. He's a little on my shit list.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
That's fair.
He is a war criminal, but he's my war criminal. I am who I am.
Yeah, that's fine. You're flawed. It's fine. We're all flawed.
No need to defend yourself. You are great.
The man was possessed by the embodiment of justice and righteousness. Like, what can you do?
What can you do?
All right. Well,
except write a good fic about it.
We could go on Dragon Age tangents all day, but why don't we hop into this episode's summary, Frankie?
Now that the Turians have been recovered, it's time to turn to the Asari arc at the behest of Cora. She firmly believes that finding the Asari and Sarissa will bring order to the initiative. The Lucenia is worse off than even the Natanis, breached again and again by Kett decimation squads. The Asari that remain are on edge since they've been constantly trying to outrun the Kett. Sarissa is now the Pathfinder in place of Matriarch Ishara, and in possession of some vital data that will help the initiative to move through the Scourge and gain an advantage over the Kett. Unfortunately, Cora learns the hard way that not every hero can stand up to scrutiny. Writer must decide, reveal Sarissa's mistake, or support her despite the pain it has caused.
So, like, I'm getting ahead of the game, and we're going to talk about this, but, like, this episode is literally the embodiment of kill your idols. Like, it just is.
Yeah.
And I felt like we were going to have a story like that here eventually. But before we get to the bulk of this, there were a few check-ins, not a ton. I do like that when you check in with Vetra, she does talk about the Natanis and just being glad that Avidus is okay and like wanting to check in on the Turian people. I assumed we'd get some kind of conversation from Vetra about that, just because it had come up before. And then I also like that every time I talk to Drac and get a granddaughter update, it makes me happy. I love Kesh so much, and he's just always so happy to talk about Kesh. Like, I got a call from Kesh. We know, Grandpa. It's okay. Chill. It's fine.
I didn't really have anything from Drac because I'm like all caught up with him.
Right.
Honestly. He's just like, and now we do my loyalty mission. Yes? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool. Most of my conversations on the ship right now.
Yeah. And I finally got the loyalty mission from Jal.
Yep.
PB also wants to get going on getting her bot back from Kalinda. And yeah, Vetra gives you the opportunity to learn a little bit something more about her. As we know, her father took her and Sid away from Palaven when they were little.
Yeah.
When Sid was just a baby. So when you ask her, like, why weren't you on the Turian Ark? Her answer is like, I don't know if I really count as Turian.
Yeah. Which is like interesting, right? Because like dealing with these alien races in this game, it's like, you're obviously a Turian. I'm looking at you, right? But being from a culture is more than just how you look, obviously, right? And so this gives us an opportunity to explore that, and something that Vetra's clearly struggling with. Am I really a Turian? Because I didn't live or grow up on Palaven. You know, what am I if I'm not that, right?
Yeah, she didn't go to boot camp. She didn't complete her compulsory service. She got out and started working mercenary jobs pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
Poor Vetra.
Poor Vetra. It's an interesting conversation to have, though, right? And what I do love about the characters in this game, speaking specifically about character like we were before, is that like they do seem to go a little deeper that even the characters do. We get a lot of depth from the characters in the original trilogy, but that's over the course of all three games. There is no amount of depth equal to Andromeda's depth in one game. Maybe other franchises, but in the Mass Effect series, we get so much just from this one game. They really give you a wealth of knowledge and background and relatability to these characters.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's partially because they were worried that people weren't going to care about these characters, right?
Right.
So they load you up on like, here are reasons to care.
Yeah, totally.
Anything else we want to talk about on the Tempest?
I mean, I don't really have a ton of notes for this time on the Tempest. I am curious, since it may not come up naturally later, but without too much spoilers, do you have, Amelia, a favorite squad mate and then also a favorite romance?
So they are all my favorite squad mates.
How dare you ask me choose between my children?
Exactly. The ones that very much rise to the top for me are I am a sucker for aliens. Vetra right off the bat. I loved her. I initially thought I was going to romance her, but then I met Jal.
Isn't that always the way?
And, you know, what are you going to do? So romance the heck out of Jal. But, like, I also adored PB. She was so fun and just so, I don't know, she was just the embodiment of my ADHD, you know. Just,
yeah, that's
I loved
accurate.
her so much.
Yeah.
I vibed
That's
with
valid.
PB. And Drac just... I loved having him in my squad. It was so hard to pick every time. I was just like, oh, I want to bring them all with me. I loved having him and or the combination of him and Vetra or him and PB, because he would talk to them in just this very like fatherly way, and like, but never like in an obnoxiously fatherly way, but in a very...
They're his babies and he loves them.
Yes. Oh my God. My heart just melted every time I had them together. So, but it was so tricky because I also wanted to always have Joel with me. So,
right, obviously.
Like,
every mission's a date if you bring your partner.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So those are ones who just immediately were just like, oh, I love you all. And I want to keep you all.
It is a great cast. Like,
Oh,
and I
so
pretty
good.
much like every character now in Mass Effect. But you know,
Except Liam's still on thin ice.
For me, Liam is on thin ice. But like even in the original trilogy, like I felt like there were a lot of characters that I didn't care for one reason or another, whether it was their writing or something else. Like Jacob is not a bad character in the original trilogy, but they do him dirty in a lot of his writing, and so he's less interesting. Whereas like
I'm just written that way.
Right. But like I feel like in this game, for the most part, the characters really do get a fair shake, and that is really great to me. Even the secondary-ish characters, your Suvis, your Kalos, who are non-squad mates at least. Yeah, no, I'm with you. This, what is it you like to say, Frankie? This clown car of...
this clown car crew of 6.
Yeah, so it just works really well. All right, well, why don't we talk about the mission at hand? So we do.
Who did you bring?
Oh, so I brought Cora, and I brought, obviously, because I have to, and I brought Drac, because he's my favorite now, officially, I think, and I'm just going to keep bringing him on a lot of stuff, I think.
That's fair. I brought Jal.
Mm-hmm.
Because he hates the Kett, so I feel like...
See, but you had the foreknowledge that the Kett were involved. I did not.
I already knew the Kett were involved.
I mean, they are always involved. It's true.
Yeah, we knew that the Kett were hunting them.
That's true.
We learned that back on Vold, baby.
I know, so long ago. So many miles driven since then.
Your memory is not what it used to be.
I'm getting old. It's hard when you get to be my age.
I know. Thank God I'll never be your age.
No, I'll always be older than you. It's true. Anyway, so we arrive at the Ark and things look worse than we even thought. Callow is a little panicked about trying to dock because it is just a mess.
Oh, poor Callow. I was just thinking that I would romance the heck out of Callow, so I'm distracted by that. I'm sorry.
I think we all would. We all want a Solarian romance at this point.
That is
thinking about Callow.
That is fair.
He's just such a good man.
He just is.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, the Lucenia is all sorts of fucked up. It is falling apart. It's been attacked again and again by decimation hunters, by the Kett, hunted across dark space by the Victus. Is that the correct?
I believe so. I, for once, don't actually have the wiki open.
Okay, I wrote it down somewhere. Anyway, attacked by someone high up in the Kett hierarchy.
Yep, and when we arrive, a lot of the hull is busted. We've got helmets on. We're trying to get through, and we almost get absolutely decimated by the captain of the ship because they don't trust anybody at this point, and fair enough. And we have to
her defense, she doesn't know who you are.
Yeah, and we have to prove very quickly that we're not Kett. And Ryder in a panic is like, Sams, send them our info quick.
Please don't let them kill us. I've died twice already. I don't wanna.
Yeah, don't need a third time. But when we get inside the ship, we get to meet Atandra and Sarissa, and Sarissa is everything you would imagine based on how Cora fangirled about her. Just brusque and strong and very, very blunt, like a certain human Spectre from a previous game. I can see a similarity there. But it's interesting to watch Cora try and interact with this person. There's Cora, a very powerful person in her own right, kind of shrinks in the presence of this person she admires.
I don't know if it's because I already knew everything, but I was already done with Sarissa the second she opened her mouth. I was just like, no, don't like it. Don't care for it. You suck. You super suck. And it could also be because of the way Cora kind of shrinks into herself around her. That shouldn't be happening. I don't like that. I don't care for that shit at all. But I don't know. Did you take the opportunity to embarrass Cora?
I did. Absolutely. Am I not going to do that? I give my friends shit all the time. So in a game, I'm going to do it too.
You're a bad person.
I'm a terrible person.
I'm sure Cora loved that. That'll do wonders for your romantic prospects with her.
She tried to change the subject so fast.
So how did you feel upon learning that Sarissa was the Pathfinder?
I mean, I didn't really have much thought about it initially, other than, oh, that's unexpected, because we didn't know she was the Pathfinder, but I didn't really give it much thought before that yet.
What about the reason they're being hunted, being the data that Sarissa stole?
I mean, it made sense to me. The Kett are kind of full of vengeance, and so them stealing important data, I assumed that they would go after them. There wasn't, for me, not having any previous knowledge, I went into this exchange just kind of like following the information. I didn't really have any judgment yet.
Okay. So when given the opportunity, you kind of sided with Sarissa? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, like I was like, oh yeah, the dad is important. It makes sense. Like sometimes we have to make we have to make brash decisions to get the job done.
Cool. I did not feel that way.
Obviously.
I definitely like was harsh with her and just so like all of this is because you stole something. And now, like, you've put your people in danger as a result. Because to me, once you take on the role of Pathfinder, I feel like your priority should be making sure that your people are safe. And if something you did is endangering your people, you should be working on undoing that.
That makes sense.
So I found it to be kind of selfish that she's trying to cling to this data and is putting the Ark and the rest of the Asari who are still in stasis at risk as a result.
That's fair. I mean, you also know that I'm themboing my way through the galaxy
That's
mostly
true.
and just kind of nodding and smiling, a very golden retriever energy. But I'm curious, Amelia, about your thoughts when you first got to this. Did you side with her or did you kind of push back?
I did not side with Sarissa. I thought what she did was atrocious. I mean, she wasn't just the sheer number of people that she put at risk. I mean, essentially the entire Asari
Ark?
Yeah, contingent, you know. It's that's, I mean, what an awful thing to do and to continue to claim that you're right and stuff. So yeah, I did not side with her, and I made the other one the Pathfinder.
Oh, we're not up to that part yet. No, it's okay. You just have this opportunity up front to either be like, yeah, that was a smart thing that you did, or being like,
Yeah, I was not thrilled with her actions whatsoever.
Yeah, Cora was real unhappy with me for reacting the way I did.
Yeah, Cora kind of just backed me up, is like, yeah, you're right. Sometimes you do have to make like last minute brash decisions. The captain, however, is not having any of it and definitely doesn't like Sarissa. But it becomes quickly apparent that they still can't leave because they're low on power and there are issues with the rest of the ship. And so we're asked to go kind of find out what's going on and see if anyone else is about to help and kind of get things back on track.
So as we explore the Ark, we are looking for the rest of Sarissa's Pathfinder team, which seems to be one person.
It just seems to be Vidaria,
yeah.
Who we encounter just kind of trying to get shit together. And it's like, it's very strange that we like roll up on Vidaria and she's like, yeah, I'm just trying to fix things. And like, I look around.
I've been second in command for a week.
Like mood, honestly, because, you know, Ryder's been the Pathfinder for some number between 3 months and a year. It's never clear in the Mass Effect games how long anything is happening.
So the first thing is that the hangar doors are being held open. So we have to close the hangar doors. Like, there's a little bit of, like, we have to do this, to do this, to do this, to do this. And throughout all of it, Cora is giving Vidaria this advice. Advice that she has gotten from Sarissa's own battle manuals. And I love my weeb wife. I love everything about her. If I hear about these fucking manuals one more time, someone is getting space.
Literally every other sentence out of her mouth. Like, Cora is so smart and wants to like lift up this cadet who's clearly struggling and is scared and worried and has great words of wisdom. But at the start of every sentence or word of wisdom, it's in the manual or the manual says. And it's like, what does Cora say? Fuck the manual.
Yeah, and like, it's fine to quote something, but like, this is coming from you. You're the person who knows what needs to be said. You're the person who knows what to tell someone in this situation and how to guide them through it. You're the one giving her advice. You're the one telling her how to pick them off from the air vent. Like, you are more of a leader than you think that you are. You don't need to be giving Sarissa credit for all of this. And I hate Sarissa so much. There's a part where we check in with Sarissa and they're like, oh, we got some power, but then it didn't fully go through. What's going on? And we have already closed the doors. We're moving on to the next thing. And we tell her, like, what we're doing. And Cora says, we won't let you down, ma'am. And Sarissa replies, of course not. And she's so sanctimonious.
That's the first time where I was like, I don't know that I like Sarissa, but I'm supposed to because one of my favorite crew members does. Like, that's when the conflict started for me. I started to see through, see the forest for the trees, as it were. Like, really kind of start to see who Sarissa really was.
And then we do finally get to the Mass Effect field generator that was holding the hull together.
Yeah.
I do kind of love the scene where we finally shut it off. And then a giant piece of the hull just floats into space.
Yeah. And they start talking, like, they ask about the captain about the FTL travel. And it's like, so say there was a chunk of the hull missing. Could we still jump to faster than light travel? Hypothetically.
I love this 20-year-old dingbat.
It's so funny.
They know shit about shit, but they're doing their best.
Yeah, Ryder's really trying. But, clearly Vidaria is showing that she's capable. She jumps right in. Like, even though she is worried or scared, when we start to move or we're fighting Kett or doing whatever, she doesn't hesitate. She clearly is very much in the Ryder vein of, I guess I'll try something. Let's see what happens.
After we do clear the Mass Effect field, a data cache frees up, and we learn something very interesting.
Yes.
It is the log of secession between Ishara and Sarissa. And we hear Ishara begging Sarissa to leave the data. We don't care about it. I need your help with the barrier to protect our people. And Sarissa ignores her, leaves her to die, and steals the data. And now this is the question, did Sarissa do the right thing, or did she do the wrong thing? I believe she did the wrong thing.
I mean, in this moment now, I also believe she did the wrong thing. Cora is heartbroken, and, like, graphics are sometimes hit or miss in this game, right? They don't always look great because of bugs or whatever else, but you get to watch the expression on Cora's face drop. You get to watch the color drain from her face. It's very impressive, and also hits me like a truck because I'm palling around with my best friend, who might be more than my best friend. They're still on the fence about that bit, and, like, absolutely knows what this means and is absolutely devastated.
Yeah, for sure. She's so torn up about it, and you can see her continuing to be conflicted. I don't know if this happened for you, but when I did the fight against the Kett and the Victus in the, like, section of the ship where the hull got broken off, I never saw Sarissa there. Like, I didn't see her. Maybe.
Oh, no, yeah, she doesn't. You don't see her until after the fight is over.
Okay, great. So the fight ends. They have to put up this barrier. The two of them creating that barrier was real fucking cool.
It was so cool.
And I would like to point out that Sarissa would never have been able to make something that big without the powerhouse that Cora is. Cora is so much more powerful. And then when we're finally, like, confronting Sarissa has the balls to be like, I saved you from the Victus. Or whatever it is. I'm just like, I'm sorry, what?
You didn't do shit. Cora saved us.
You did what?
I'm curious, Amelia, did you feel this strongly against... I mean, it sounds like it just based on your decision early on, but did you also feel this strongly against Sarissa through all of this?
Yeah. I mean, this bit here was like the icing on the Sarissa sucks cake. It was just like... And I felt horrible for Cora the whole time, because what an awful thing to have to learn about someone, that you've looked up to so much for your whole life, or at least, for while you were training and doing everything like that. But my heart just absolutely went out to her. Cora had been almost a little background for me for quite some time, but this was pretty much the part where I really started to feel much more of a connection to her and relate to her and feel that pain that she was in. I love that you mentioned, like, how what a great job they did expressing that. And yeah, it was a really heartbreaking moment.
I feel like Korra gets a lot of attention paid to her in the graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even her one-on-one scenes with Ryder, I feel like she's so much more expressive and detailed than a lot of the other characters.
Yeah.
I feel like they paid a lot of attention to her.
I mean, I think part of that is also it's much easier to make aliens look expressive because of the exaggerated facial features. Whereas with humans, our stuff is much more subtle. And I think they went that extra mile, especially with the humans in this, because, especially the remaster of the trilogy looks great. And the humans are expressive, but like there are limitations that they were trying to push past with this game. And you can see it in this mission. Yeah, I was not at this point a fan of Sarissa. I was kind of done as well. But I mostly just felt bad for Korra. Like I almost didn't care that much about Sarissa because I was more concerned about Korra.
That's fair.
But when we finish this mission and we go back up to the bridge, we are given an opportunity to tell the truth. And, I have tell the truth underlined in my notes because, as Frankie knows, through this whole season, if I'm given an opportunity to tell the truth as writer, and this could go with me Themboing my way through the universe, I do it because I feel like everyone deserves to know. I think it's interesting that up until this point, even though Korra is pretty much done with Sarissa still thinks she's the hero and is like, Ryder, no, please don't do this. And it almost made me feel bad at first. Almost.
She goes as far as to say, I chose protecting all these people over a single life, which is bullshit. You did not choose protecting people. You chose your ego. You chose to appear like a hero. Because if you cared about protecting people, you would have been honest with what had happened. You would have been honest about your decision. If you truly believe that what you did was absolutely for the best of the Asari arc, you would have told Atandra and you would have said, look, I left Ishara behind because she was making a bad decision and I needed to make the decision that was right for our people. You did not do that because you cared more about how you appeared to the people.
It was all about saving face. And after that, and I'm guessing we all made the same choice, but at this point I had understood the breadth and width of what Sarissa had done, and so I reveal the truth to the captain, and the captain is not happy. The
captain's, I feel like, is also not surprised.
No, not even a little.
Atandra's she calls it one of Sarissa's harebrained schemes. So I feel like Atandra suspected and is just like, I'm done. I am absolutely done with you. And then we have the option, keep Sarissa regardless, or pass on succession to someone else.
And I'm assuming we also all made the same decision.
We all chose Vidaria.
Yes, because in the 5 to 20 minutes I spent with Vidaria, she was more capable, braver, and more willing to take smart risks than Sarissa was. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And Atandra even says maybe a Pathfinder with some humility can do better.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this before, and I'm curious your thoughts on this, Amelia, but like Frankie and I have talked before about reluctant leaders are often better leaders because they don't want the power. It's not a power grab. It's they want to just do good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I see that not just in it's a really common, I guess you could call it a trope, but it works, and it works for a reason because it works in real life. The people who are just like fighting for the power are the exact people you do not want in charge.
Right. You want someone who just kind of falls into it naturally.
Yeah.
Or someone who's like, I did not set out to become this.
Yeah. And it's like, to an extent too, it's like I even see it like on a much smaller scale in like work environments and stuff like that. It's something I see in kind of just regular day to day, and it's so relatable, and I thought they did such a great job, kind of highlighting that particular issue in this case and the way it played out.
I agree. And I do love that after this moment, just, to be clear, we all told Sarissa to go fuck herself and all said Vidaria is the better choice. Yeah. So I just want to put that out there that we're in unison. I mean, me and Frankie agreeing is not that strange at this point. But Although I've
We
thrown
are
some,
the same person.
we are. Although I have thrown some curveballs. But when we get back to the ship and we talk to Cora, Cora is crushed still.
She's
Absolutely
so
heartbreaking.
happy.
But like, and then starts to talk about how I just don't know what I'm going to do. What I love about the way I play Ryder is I feel more moments with Ryder than with Shepard of it being me. As much as I feel
yes.
close to my Shepard and that
Yes.
Shepard, like I can make Shepard talk like me, I often feel like Ryder is actually saying the things I would say. Because in this moment when Cora tries to go down this downward spiral, I go, stop that. Don't talk about my friend like that.
Yeah.
You're an incredible leader. You did so. Look what you did with Vidaria on the ship. Like, you don't need Sarissa. You are a leader. Like, and that's the kind of support I would give a friend of mine going through that. And so, like, I love this moment for that.
Yeah, I agree. I chose the casual option of you're twice the woman Sarissa is, which I believe is what you're describing as well. And it's true. Like, Cora is a leader, yes, because she studied so hard and she studied those manuals. That definitely had something to teach. But she's the one applying them. She's the one who brings it into her life and decides what it means to her. And that is just as important as the original text itself.
Yes, agreed. Also, I love that this game continues to give us a hug trigger, which I will always take.
Oh, I didn't get a hug trigger.
Oh, I guess that's probably because I've been flirting with her a lot.
Yeah. It's because she's not gay.
Yeah, but there is a moment where she's like, I don't know if I know we flirt and we joke back and forth, but like in this moment, I don't know where my brain is at, but I could really use a hug. And then you hug her and it's sweet. And like she pulls you in close and it's not a romantic. It's not meant to be, or not in the explicit kind of romantic. It's meant to be comfortable and kind and sweet. And it's just a lovely moment that you get to share with her. And this is pushing me towards the Cora camp for those who, to familiarize our guests, because the audience knows, there was a sheet you could fill out during the first part of the season. You could guess my choices and the decisions I'd make. And of course, the biggest one after me curveballing towards Caden in the trilogy is guessing who I'd romance. And like, Frankie's told me the top 3 percentages, but I have no idea who voted for what. I have my theories, but Cora is in my top 3, which is no secret to anybody, along with Vetra and Jal, because like, duh. I have eyes, like, and I have ears. But this moment with Cora, like, this is the kind of relationship stuff that we get in the third game with Caden, which is incredibly done, but is missing with the human companions from the first 2 games. They just like, I love Miranda now after our more recent playthrough. I think she's an incredible character with a ton of depth, but romance-wise, she is so much more, especially in the original trilogy, just eye candy in a way that Cora could have been and wasn't, and I appreciate that. On the other hand, Liam is often eye candy, but you know what? Let's equalize things out, right? Why not?
It's for the female gaze.
Exactly.
It's not for the male gaze. It's different.
Well, it's for all the gays, technically, depending on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Except Liam is not gay.
No,
So.
I know. I can't flirt with him.
Upsetting.
But yeah, I really do enjoy this moment. And I have to imagine, and you were saying this a little bit earlier, Amelia, this is what kind of endeared you, this moment and this mission endeared you more to Cora as a character.
Very much so. Like, prior to that, I am a sucker for aliens, and that is like that is my personal flaw, and I accept that, you know.
Same.
But you know, I think, you know, one of the things that Cora and I kind of agreed on is that she's kind of a sucker for aliens too. And you know, so I related to her, and yeah, all of this very much, it was just, it was a situation I've been in, you know, in my own life before. I related to it really heavy when somebody you really admire suddenly reveals that they're a complete piece of shit. And it's like, great. What does that say about me? Because I really thought the world of you, and now I need to kind of sit back and reevaluate a whole lot of crap. So
Gotta find some new heroes.
that's right.
Yeah.
Good thing Tamara Pierce will never let me down.
Good deal.
It's important, though, like the kill your idols aspect. I mean, Frankie knows the reason I got into podcasting was because of a very specific individual who then turned out to be a shitty human who abused his partner. And so I dare not even speak that fucker's name anymore. But like, and that was hard for me. I based one of my entire podcasts around him, but I pulled myself up and I was like, no, I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing it for this one shithead who turned out to be terrible. But that's the problem, right? Heroes and people can be flawed. You know, they're not the superheroes of the comic books and stuff. And I think the
best superheroes in the comics are flawed too.
Correct.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, as of when we're recording, Miss Marvel just started, which I loved the first episode because she's a teenage kid who's just stumbling into superherodom in the similar way to like Spider-Man, like those relatable heroes who kind of luck into or happen into that power and then figure out how to help people.
In a similar way to Ryder too. I loved what you were saying earlier about relating to Ryder. I was able to make my Ryder so similar. I named her FyreWriter. I was so proud of myself.
That's very good.
Yes, my moment has arrived. But yeah, it is terrible. I own it. But yeah, what you were saying was so spot on that I loved Shepard. Shepard was fantastic. She's harder to relate to because, you know, I don't have a militaristic bone in my body, which, I mean, Ryder had some of that, but you never felt that. I felt like oh God, how many times I've been thrown into a situation that I am so far over my head and I got to make it up as I go. And God, I hope nobody gets hurt. And you know what I mean? It was just like, I got Ryder right from the get-go. So, yeah. And Cora, I connected with her on a very similar way. And I love to find those really personal connections with characters and just keep hammering that button over and over again.
Something I want to say to kind of cap this mission is that a thing that I really appreciated is that Cora experienced growth by the end. She has this tender moment where she remembers something that Alex said. And she also kind of comes to terms with how Alec passed her over for becoming the Pathfinder in his place. And she says, "You're the better Pathfinder. I always look for the mentor. I look for the leader." And that's where you get your opportunity to be like, you're so much more amazing than you think that you are. But she says, we ended up where we needed to be. If you can't outrun it, you gotta use it, which is something that Ryder knows her father, or their father, used to say. And it's such this wonderful moment of friendship between the two of them, of understanding, of growth. Cora is no longer going to be questioning her role. She never wanted to be in competition with Ryder, but she did feel lost and confused. But now that she's kind of put herself through it, she understands that she is in a better role to support Ryder. And I'm really happy for her and I'm really proud of her because it would have been so easy for her to spiral and to continue to be depressed because so many people that she looked up to have let her down.
Yeah, look at this. A game showing us healthy emotional growth. What's that about? I mean, you know, look, as Frankie and I have said many times on the show, we like our characters slightly spiced with trauma. You know, it adds flavor.
Lightly salted.
Lightly salted. But no, I agree wholeheartedly. I think the growth of Cora, I think this is the problem with the human characters in previous games, is Jacob and Ashley both don't really get much growth. Miranda does, but it's heavily done at the tail end of 2 and all of 3. Jacob gets no growth really across both games. And like Caden also, like he gets some growth in 1, but like it's like then full steam ahead in 3 when you get with him, you get that growth. But like, you know, Ashley gets none. Ashley literally gets no growth. And it's why she fails as a character, because we like to joke that she's a space racist, and she is. But like, there's an opportunity there, right? And they miss it. And what I like about this game is that it's taken every opportunity and difficulty for these characters to experience and then grow from it in some way, shape, or form. And we continue to see it. I really love the writing in this game, regardless of how I feel about the rest of it, because I'm still figuring that out. The writing is top-notch BioWare through and through, especially for the character writing.
Matt, I have some advice for living in a new galaxy.
Gee, I wonder if it'll be useful and informative.
Hopefully. For our next mission, you're going to need to put a button on things by going to the Nexus afterwards.
Okay, so like once the mission's done, go back to the Nexus.
Yes.
Okay, good to know.
Because otherwise you're going to be like, is that it?
Am I done?
Are we done?
Did I finish it?
Amelia, do you have any advice for Matt?
My advice is more general towards the game, and I don't know. I would probably apply this advice to any game I play. Is I look at absolutely everything. I dig into every corner. There is, when you just like start running around on that map, there are so many different things to find and little hidden quests and everything, and that's just always my advice to everybody on every game. And Andromeda rewards you so much for doing that. And I love that because that is so my play style. And I love being validated in my, well, in everything, but in my play style as well. So that will always be my advice. But also I found I had a really nice kind of pattern in the game that I suppose some people might find that kind of boring. I do not. I find it very soothing and comforting of kind of doing 2 or 3 back to the Tempest, back to the Nexus, go back and just kind of keep cycling like that. And as long as you're pretty thorough on each of those trips, you'll just discover like more and more and more and more about the world.
Okay, awesome. I'll keep that in mind. I mean, I've been doing that a bit because that's just by design of the episode roadmap so far. But yeah, that's good to know that. And I try to keep remembering to do that. And it doesn't have the clear mission check-in pattern of the previous game. And so I do try to keep that in mind.
And now for something fun.
Yay!
Amelia, will you please pick a character from Andromeda?
Yes, I pick Jal.
Okay. All right, you chose Jal. Mm-hmm. What's the coolest thing you've ever made?
The coolest thing? Can I say my kids?
Yeah, absolutely you can.
They're pretty cool.
What makes them so cool?
Oh my gosh. They are, they've both had like a lot of challenges in their life, and they are just resilient, like holy moly. And it just amazes me every time. And they are such wonderful, kind, loving, caring people. My youngest is he's fully out, so he has no problem with me telling the world, but he's trans, and that's a lot for him to deal with. And he is a leader, and he is so supportive. He has his own, he streams, he has his own community, and he is just a rock for so many people. And I am so incredibly proud of him for just constantly being out there speaking his truth and just inviting everybody into his circle of love and appreciation. And acceptance isn't even the right word, because it's beyond acceptance. It's just celebration of his friends and who they are and himself. And I admire my kids, and I think that's pretty cool.
Aww,
that's so awesome.
Anything we say is gonna be like
yeah, okay.
And whatever.
It's fine.
I mean, I made this really cool cross stitch.
I also am proud of my painting.
Yeah, I was admiring this painting throughout all of recording. It's a beautiful painting.
It is a beautiful painting.
Matt, what's the coolest thing you've ever made?
I mean,
you can't say this podcast. I won't let you.
I mean, it's not this podcast. This podcast is fine. It's a fine podcast.
Wow.
Look, you did it. No. I'm very proud of this podcast, and obviously making it. That's kind of obvious, but I'm very proud of all of the stuff that I make, because I make so much of it. But I think I've said this before, the thing I'm most proud of creating, I make 4 podcasts. One of those podcasts has a podcast within the feed, and like they're all my babies, right? I can't pick just one. But like Side Quests, which is a sub-series within Fun and Games proper, is one of my favorite things I've ever made because it was born out of intense negativity and it promotes intense positivity. For those who don't know, who have been under a rock or don't pay attention to anything else I make, Side Quest is a series where every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, every Monday and every other Friday, we air an episode of Side Quest. And it's a different host talking about a game they love and why they love it. And that's it. That's the only rule. It can be a mobile game. It can be a console game. It can be a PC game. It could be a full single-player mod of another game. It just has to be a game that you love. And it was born out of seeing people bash the most recent Paper Mario on Switch after seeing a screenshot and being like, that game's going to suck. And I'm like, it's a screenshot. How do you know it's going to suck? It's literally a picture. And it made me so mad. I was like, I want to put positivity into the world. I want to allow people to talk about games they love without judgment. And it's been great because I've had games on that are typically judged. One of our earliest episodes was by Nathan Brandt, who is one of the head honchos over at Some Good Shows, about Fortnite, a game that is full of cliches and doubters because it's a kid's game and it doesn't make sense and blah, blah, blah. And they just talked about this game for 15 minutes. And I was like, I want to play this game. I have no interest in Fortnite. I mean, now I play Fortnite, but like, that's the kind of experience. And I'm just proud of creating that because more than anything else I've made, people have said, that's a great idea. I'm so glad this space exists. And to just be able to provide in the games industry, which is overwhelmingly negative and often hostile, just a tiny bit of positivity where people feel safe to speak their truth about the game they love, regardless of what game it is. I love that. So that's one of the things I'm most proud of. What about you, Frankie? What's something you make that you're really proud of?
I made this cool cross stitch.
The listeners aren't going to be able to see it.
No,
but we'll be
I'm
able
going
to
to show
see
you.
it. Hey, you can post it in the Discord later.
I will.
Oh, that is cool.
That is
So-
awesome.
I had this idea that I have this denim vest, and I really wanted to put something on the back of it. So I thought that I would embroider it, but the denim is stretchy. So for those who don't know, embroidering on things that are stretchy is difficult. You have to have a good stabilizer. You have to keep your stitches really even in tension. Otherwise it pulls and your end result just won't look good. So I was originally going to embroider an idea that I had of dandelions bursting out of a crack with the lyric, I am not afraid to keep on living. But then I decided, actually, I want that as a tattoo. So I got that as a tattoo. And then I decided, well, if I do something on my vest, what if I get bored of it? What do I do then? So what I did was I cut out the back of my vest and I put Velcro on the inside of my vest. And then I took fabric and I put the other half of the Velcro on that fabric. And I attached a cross-stitch piece that I did. It is of a lighthouse in a bottle. And I attached that to the fabric. So now, if I want to put something else on my vest, I just take off this fabric that I have Velcroed into it and put something else in there. Like, I just have to attach Velcro to another piece of fabric and attach a cross-stitch to that.
That is brilliant.
So, I thought that was a really fun idea. But yeah, let me remove my virtual background so you guys can really see.
Like I cross stitches.
This is just for you guys,
and that is just phenomenal. That is beautiful work. Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
Was this the cross stitch you were working on when we were driving to PAX? That's awesome.
Yes, this is the cross stitch I was working on when I was driving to PAX. And like I said, there is Velcro on the inside of my vest.
Brilliant.
So
my mind is blown. That is genius. Just straight up.
Look at you, all like, oh, I just have a cross stitch.
This is amazing.
Low key genius.
I know.
I made this pretty thing.
Is that a design that you made?
I did not create this design. I got this design from, I want to say it was 2x2 cross stitch.
Okay.
They were based out of Ukraine.
Oh.
So what I did was I gave a lot of Ukrainian artists money, and I bought a lot of cross-stitch patterns from people based out in Ukraine. So that way it wasn't something that they had to like make or send. It was a digital download. I got the files instantly. They got money. So
Brilliant and
That's
compassionate.
awesome.
yeah.
Well done. That's I know. Not trying to make you feel weird, sorry. No, that is super cool. That is fantastic.
I'm just a nerd and life is a nightmare.
Okay, all right. Amazing. Awesome. What I've learned today is that we're all awesome in different ways. Aw. Well, that's it for this episode. In our next episode, we're going to do the loyalty mission of everyone's favorite Space Grandpa.
Space Grandpa!
Drax's loyalty mission is up next. So if you're playing along with us, do that loyalty mission. Amelia, thank you for joining us on this episode.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. You're both just wonderful to talk to.
This would be the best place for you to promote where folks can find you online, find your podcast, your stream, all of that stuff. Plug away.
Sure. My podcast is The Pixel People. It is a show entirely about characters in games. Where a guest brings in one of their favorite characters. We take a deep look at their story, the choices they make, their backstory, their lessons we can learn, anything, just like a very thorough character analysis. But it's, it's just a conversation between two friends at that point. It's so much fun. And you can find Pixel People on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and pretty much everywhere. So I'd love it if you'd check it out. Got a new episode dropping later this week that I hope everybody enjoys. It's for Pride Month, and we had a lot of fun recording it. So we get into some. There's laughter, there's tears, there's the whole shebang. So very excited about that. You can also come find me streaming. I stream as FyreWriter. It's spelled FyreWriter. And I'm streaming right now a couple different Bethesda games. So we've got I just started a playthrough of Fallout 3, playing Fallout 4. We've got Skyrim, currently playing through Dragon Age. And then other games pop in here and there depending on what I'm up to and what I want to share with people and stuff. So we have a lot of fun there too. And you can find me on Twitter under FyreWriter as well, or at Pixel People Pod for the show.
Amazing. Awesome. Go follow all that stuff. I did that the other day. You should do it too. You won't regret it.
And if you like what you heard here, you can follow us on social media. We're at ReignitePod on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram, facebook.com/ReignitePod, or you can send us an email at reignitepod@gmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at iHoardLibraries and Matt at DJ_Stormageddon. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcatcher if you can. It helps us get seen so other people can find us.
We're also members of the Certain Point of View podcast network. You can visit certainpov.com to find more nerdy podcasts, each with a unique point of view. You can also find a permanent invite link to our Discord server on the website and join in the conversation. We have an Andromeda Matt Keep Out spoilers channel that I cannot look at, although I've peeked just to see if people are posting, but not actually read what was posted there. We also have a Mass Effect channel, mostly complaining about how BioWare keeps putting out too much cool stuff to buy.
Did you see the Hanged Man mug?
I did, and I don't need a ceramic mug, but also I kind of want it. And yeah, please chat with us there. We talk about books, movie, TV, video games, all sorts of nerdy stuff, so come by the Discord and hang out.
If you're enjoying our Andromeda shenanigans here, then you should catch me over on Archives of the Dragon every other Monday, where my spouse, Professor John Bradley Lestrange, leads us through the wild unknown outside the Helios cluster in Andromeda. We're hella gay and hella feisty. You can catch that at twitch.tv/Arc of the Dragon.
You can find all of my stuff at djstormageddon.com, including my merch store, and it's currently Pride, and I am very gay, so you should buy my stuff, because it's Pride Month and celebrate this specific queer right here. Also, if you haven't been checking out my Twitch channel, I'm going to try and start streaming. If you are listening to this the morning it came out, the way the trending voting is going, I am going to be playing a very scary game this afternoon, much to my dismay, because people voted for it, and I'm a sucker for attention. So you can go find my Twitch channel.
You're a weenie.
I am a weenie. People liked when I streamed Dead Space and was scared all the time, so I guess we're just going to do more of that. My Twitch channel is just like my Twitter handle. It's DJ_Stormageddon. Go ahead and give me a follow, and you'll get a notification when I go live, likely playing Resident Evil 2 Remake and being scared shitless.
We'd like to thank Red Spinks for our It's Okay to Be a Marshmallow t-shirt on Redbubble featuring our favorite marshmallow, Caden Alenko. You can find more of his work at Chaos Does Art on Instagram. Also, I think we should commission Red for I Am the Lizard Son. Yes,
I agree. If you want to get that conversation going, I think it's an incredible shirt that I would actually wear. Although I like the Caden shirt, I just that Grunt's my fave.
I know.
With a little like blanket on him also, like Lisa is in that episode of The Simpsons. I think it's just be perfect. It should be a little N7 blanket maybe, I don't know.
And Grandpa Drac in the background.
Right, just like looking down, like shameful. We'd also like to thank Carter's husband for developing more amazing t-shirt designs that you can find at certainpov.com or on Certain POV's Teespring.
Thank you to David Boyle for redesigning our logo like a champ. And finally, thank you to JT Music and Andrea Storm Caden for our new theme music. I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt A.K. Stormageddon.
And I'm Amelia. Good luck, Pathfinders.
Life is a mystery. Everyone must stand alone. I hear you call my name, and it feels like home. Feels like home.
Hey,
Oh, hey, Jeff.
what's going on, guys?
Oh, talking about Superman.
Oh, cool. I could talk about Superman.
I could talk some more about Superman.
We know.
I'll bet a few people would want to get in on this.
I'm down.
You know it.
That sounds like fun. I'll do it.
Cool, let's do it. We can call the show Men of Steel.
And you can find it at certainpov.com.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yay.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.